Clarkson Harding, car line manager at Subaru America for the Impreza line. And we're standing in front of a drivetrain mock-up of a 2011 Impreza WRX STI, showing some of the changes that we've made to improve the car's handling and performance. And the biggest change to this car has been in the suspension. And what we've done is significantly change the front suspension to improve the rigidity. We've gone from, this is a 2010 piece, and looking at the bushing at the back of the control arm, which takes the majority of the loads, was a traditional rubber bushing where you've got a steel tube encased in a rubber with a steel outer, in this case pressed into the aluminum control arm. Now for 2011, we've gone a significant change and brought race car technology into the street by going to what in the Japanese market would be called a pillow ball bushing, which in England would be called a rose joint, or in this country a rod end or heim joint. And this is a precision machined steel ball with an inner and outer race, and we've got a small rubber area around the outside to take some of the harshness out. So if this was a true full-on race car, these would be the joints in the suspension. You wouldn't have the rubber, but as a concession to a street car, we do have a little bit of rubber in there to take some of that noise, vibration, harshness out. However, what we've done is been able to capture the rigidity of this to control the toe and camber of the front tire, to keep the tire planted. The rubber itself, if we look at the old bushing, I can actually take my fingers, and you might not be able to see it on camera, but I can actually take my fingers and move the bushing. You can see movement from just my fingers. Now, if we were to take a look at the size of the tire, the Summer Performance tires on these cars, and think of the loads you're putting on these cars as you're accelerating, braking, and turning, much greater than what I could do with my two thumbs. All those loads are going to go through this joint. So by going to a ball joint like this, the pillow ball, we've now controlled much better the toe control of the car, the camber, the rigidity of the suspension. And where you feel that is in the steering response and the steering feel. Accurate feedback to the driver as to what the tire is doing. And the tire itself is going to track better. So when you turn the car in, you have a much better sense of the tires following where you want to go. The car pointing in the direction you want it to be as you drive the car. Now, by going to a more rigid setup, it allowed us to then take the struts themselves. We've gone to a 16% stiffer spring. We've changed the damping force of the strut itself. And we've also changed the sway bar diameter by 1 millimeter. So we've gone 1 millimeter larger in the front and the rear. So moving to the rear of the car.
You want this one up here still?
Again, looking at the changes for 2011. This area here is the rear suspension subframe, and it uses 4 mounting points to mount to the body of the car. So these 4 mounting points have actually, you can't see it here because of the steel plate, but there's a rubber bushing inside of there. For 2011, we've increased the stiffness of the rubber bushing. And what this is doing is changing how the tire again reacts to the chassis of the car to control the movement of the tire. In the back, the spring rate has been increased by 53%. The damping force has also been changed to match, and the stabilizer bar has been increased by 1 millimeter in diameter. The combination of these changes have changed the roll stiffness by 30%.
What's with the racing suit?
I live in constant fear of fire.